In a world echoing with the clamor of political campaigns and the heart-wrenching silence left by natural disasters, we begin this broadcast anchored in faith. We bring you stories that call us to both prayer and action, from the Holy Father's message of solidarity for the suffering in Afghanistan to our own bishops' call for unity as they celebrate their jubilee. With our nation preparing to choose its path at the ballot box, we also carry a solemn call for peace, reflection, and a rejection of violence, praying that our electoral process is guided by the principles of justice and common good. Before the news in detail, here are the headlines. Pope Leo XIV prays for victims of earthquake in Afghanistan. Malawi Congress Party urges police probe into Kasung attack claims. Former President Dr. Joyce Banda calls for inclusive youth engagement. In news from across the borders, more than 1,000 killed as landslide wipes out Sudanese village. And now the news in detail. We start with news from the Holy See, where Pope Leo XIV has conveyed his profound sorrow over the devastating earthquake that struck eastern Afghanistan on August 31, claiming at least 800 lives and leaving thousands injured. In a telegram addressed to those affected, the Pope offered prayers for the deceased, the injured, and the missing, while expressing his solidarity with the families and communities mourning the loss of loved ones. Vatican News report read by Patrick Popper.
The telegram signed by Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin stated that Pope Leo XIV is deeply saddened by the significant loss of life caused by the earthquake. The Pope entrusted all affected by this disaster to the providence of the Almighty and expressed his heartfelt solidarity, in particular with those who mourn the loss of loved ones and with the emergency personnel and the civil authorities involved in rescue and recovery efforts. According to local authorities, the 6.0 magnitude local time, with its epicenter located 27 kilometers northeast of Jalalabad, the capital of Nagga province, the quake caused widespread destruction, with severe entire villages destroyed due to the epicenter proximity to the surface and the prevalence of homes built with stone and mud. Rescue efforts are ongoing, with emergency response teams dispatched to the affected zones to accelerate aid delivery and search operations. However, the rugged terrain has completed these efforts, and landslides have blocked key roads. Helicopters have been deployed to reach remote regions inaccessible by road. The death toll is expected to rise as assessments continue, with officials confirming 12 deaths and 255 injuries in Naga province, 58 injuries in Laman province, and 4 injuries in Nuristan province. The United Nations office in Afghanistan has expressed its condolences and assured that it will spare no effort to assist those in need in the affected areas. Pope Leo XIV invoked divine blessings of consolation and strength upon the entire Afghan people during this difficult time for the nation. His message of solidarity and support comes as the international community rallies to provide aid and assistance to those affected by the earthquake.
In local news from the Church, the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops, MCCB, has invited all Catholic faithfuls nationwide to come together in celebration of the Bishop's Jubilee set for Wednesday, 3rd September. MCCB General Secretary Father Valeriano Mtseka said this year's commemoration holds special significance, providing an opportunity for the bishops to reflect on their mission and explore ways to strengthen collaboration in living out the spirit of synodality. Emmanuel Chiwocha reports.
The Bishop's Jubilee will be marked by a public liturgical function at St. Patrick's Parish in Area 18, Lilongwe, featuring a penitential service followed by Eucharistic celebration. The event will be led by Bishop Raphael Nkube from Zimbabwe. Father Ntseka said the celebration offers an opportunity for the Catholic community to come together in prayer, reflect on their shared mission, and renew their commitment to serving the Lord.
In this year of the Jubilee, the Bishop's Jubilee will be celebrated tomorrow, the 3rd of September 2025. All bishops will be available for this very important occasion, and this day will be facilitated by Right Reverend Raphael Nkube from Zimbabwe. During their gathering, as they reflect on this particular day, the bishops are going to reflect on the bishop as the shepherd of hope, but they also look at the synodality and the ministry of the bishop.
The Jubilee year, launched by Pope Francis on Christmas Eve, December 24, 2024, and set to conclude on January 6, 2026, is being observed as a period of renewal and hope. This year's theme, Pilgrims of Hope, highlight the value of faith, unity, and solidarity. For Luntha News, in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chiwocha.
In the current open campaign window, the Malawi Congress Party has urged authorities to swiftly investigate and apprehend those responsible for the alleged assault of their Kasungu Central parliamentary aspirant Chikondi Kampachi Kechisale. According to Dr. Jessica Bwila, the party spokesperson, the incident involved thugs who made off with 17 million Malawi kwacha in cash. The damaged Toyota Fortuner vehicle belonging to Chisale is currently in police custody, as confirmed by Kasungu police spokesperson Joseph Kachiko. Robert Edward has filed this report.
Speaking during the press conference, Chisale said he was attacked by security officers of the Alliance for Democracy afford President Enoch Chihana, who manhandled him, sprayed him pepper spray, and stole 17 million kwacha cash, a smartphone, and soccer balls when he was going for a final match of his bonanza in the constituency. The Kasungu Central MCP parliamentary aspirant also claimed that Chihana perpetrated the assault.
As soon as I finished that, a fist on my eye landed. You guys, all sorts of things. A fracas happened. I was pepper sprayed. Another guy pulled me, hold me both hands, tried to stab me with a panga knife. Lucky enough, I pushed and I started running away. I ran away for a mile, and I noticed the cars and the people that I know.
Spokesperson of the party, Dr. Jessica Bwila, said the party wants the matter investigated and for the attackers to be brought to book.
We have launched an appeal, and in our press release, we are asking for immediate arrest of such people, number one. Number two, we want an investigation, because we are also not a party that just wants to say things. We've brought here proof for what we are doing, but we believe Mr. Enoch Chihana must be investigated. We are also calling for that. And we are also calling for our supporters to keep their calm and not be violent.
Currently, Kasungu Police spokesperson Joseph Kajiko says the investigations are ongoing, but the vehicle belonging to Chisale is in their custody. During the weekend, the same Toyota Fortuner was paraded on the social media to be the one that thugs who allegedly attacked Chihana's convoy in Kasungu were traveling in. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Still on elections campaign news, President Lazarus Chakwera, who is Malawi's Congress Party MCP torchbearer in the September 16th elections, has emphasized the need for a special development fund to accelerate national progress and ensure visible infrastructure and service improvements across the country. Chakwera made the remarks on Tuesday as he continued with his campaign trail in Lilongwe and in Chinji. Cherry Chilanga has filed this report.
In his remarks, Chakwera said developments such as that witnessed in Lilongwe should not be confined to the capital alone, but should be replicated nationwide, stressing that a dedicated fund would make this vision a reality. Chakwera also issued a stern warning to local council officials, urging them to eliminate negligence and corruption, which he said undermined development efforts. Highlighting his administration's achievements, Chakwera said that no previous government has promoted more teachers, linking this to the government's broader goal of increasing the number of skilled workers to support economic growth. In Mchinji, Chakwera encouraged people to maintain peaceful and friendly relations with their neighbors across the border in Zambia, emphasizing a shared heritage and unity. He further urged families to end child marriages, stressing the importance of educating children to ensure a prosperous future for the country.
Ndithokozenso chifukwa cha ntchito zachitukuko zimene zikuchitika kuno kwathu. Misewoyi tikhoza kupita apa mpaka tikafike kuwaliranji, koma zinazi nzofunika tikonze mmene tayamba kukonzera zikuluzikulu tsopano tiyambe m'midzimu makoza zing'ono-zing'ono. Tere kuti tithokoze mwapaderadera m'bale wanga Simbi Phiri adakonza msewu kuti uziyendeka.
MCP Secretary General Richard Chimondobanda accused the Democratic Progressive Party DPP of conducting fake surveys, claiming their party leader will win the September 16, 2025 election. Chimondobanda alleges that DPP is trying to deceive Malawians due to President Chakwera's growing popularity across the country. Chakwera started his tours at Kumajenga constituency at 4 ways before stopping at Mpingu in Lilongwe constituency. He then proceeded to Mchinji, starting with Walilanji Trading Center in Mchinji South constituency, before going to Mchinji Southwest constituency at Tembwe Trading Center. Chakwera also stopped at Kamwendo in Mchinji Central East, Matutu in Mchinji East constituency, Kapili in Mchinji Northeast constituency, Mkanda in Mchinji North constituency, before winding up at Mchinji Boma, which is in Mchinji West constituency. 252,605 people registered to vote in the September 16th elections in Mchinji.
You're watching news live on Luntha TV. We take a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Luntha TV News Live and I'm Kathy Matura. But before we proceed, here is a recap of the top stories. Pope Leo XIV prays for victims of earthquake in Afghanistan. Malawi Congress Party urges police probe into Kasung attack claims. Former President Dr. Joyce Banda calls for inclusive youth engagement. In news from across the borders, more than 1,000 killed as landslide wipes out Sudanese village. Moving on, People's Party presidential candidate Dr. Joyce Banda has underscored the importance of adopting an inclusive approach to youth participation in every sector of the economy. Speaking earlier today during a presidential youth dialogue, Dr. Banda engaged with young people to outline her party's plans for advancing youth development. The former president also emphasized that sustained economic growth is essential to improving the overall well-being of Malawians. Our Tandiwe Mzumara filed this report.
Former President Dr. Joyce Banda has reiterated her commitment to making secondary education free, describing it as both achievable and essential. Speaking at the Youth Dialogue organized by Youth and Society under the Youth Decide campaign, Dr. Banda said she is already personally supporting students and believes the initiative can be implemented nationwide. She pledged to continue championing programs that assist what she described as well-deserving needy students, many of whom struggle to access higher education due to financial constraints.
Jobs and opportunities to work here and outside the country. Where we are at, we shall need all our young people to work in the country when we industrialize, when we begin our mining, which is going to be a real big deal. But for now, to that 5 years, we must ensure that our young people have a choice to work here and to work outside, and I'm ready with the jobs. So I know that there's so much opportunity in farming and export of our farming products, and even in value addition. But for that to happen, the young people are failing to raise capital for it. So we have decided that we are going to set up an agricultural development fund.
Charles Kajaloega, Executive Director of Youth and Society and coordinator of the Youth Decide campaign, in his remarks pushed for meaningful youth inclusion in Malawi's politics and governance. Kajaloega urged political leaders to go beyond rhetoric by embedding youth concerns such as jobs, education, climate action, health and technology into their manifestos and policies.
Yeah, so our role basically as Youth and Society, in collaboration with the Youth Decide campaign and Zodiac, is to create a platform where young people interact with presidential candidates on critical issues that affect them, as well as the issues that the political parties are committing during this election. We are also creating space for presidential candidates to articulate their policy positions on a number of issues related to young people.
The dialogue is giving aspiring leaders a rare opportunity to directly engage with the country's young population who form the backbone of Malawi's electorate. With the majority of registered voters under the age of 35, the platform has become a key space for presidential hopefuls to outline how they plan to respond to the needs and aspirations of the youth. For Luntha News, this is Tandiwe Mzumara.
Minister of Local Government, Culture and Unit Richard Chimwendo Banda has reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving the welfare of traditional leaders, including plans to double their honoraria. He made the remarks on Monday at Balaka Stadium during a ceremony elevating 5 traditional leaders to the positions of sub-traditional authority, traditional authority, and senior chief. The minister's statement came in response to a request from Balaka District Commissioner Tamanya Harawa, who urged the ministry to continue providing training for the traditional leaders to enhance the effective delivery of their duties. From our Balaka Bureau, Andrew Nandolo has filed this report.
Jira explained that some policies such as UTMs look good on paper but raise doubts on funding, as unplanned initiatives could squeeze private investment and disrupt ongoing development projects. He also cautioned the sustainability of repeated Constituency Development Fund CDF increases, warning they may overstretch government's budget without reliable revenue sources. He further noted that while DPP has invested in infrastructure before, the poor quality of many roads undermines long-term benefits. On the other hand, he welcomed education-focused policies from various parties, stressing that building human capacity is key to economic growth, though he urged them not to rely entirely on donor support for free education. Chira also credited the MCP-led administration for gradually raising CDF allocations and introducing some fiscal controls, but warned that price stability and expenditure management will remain fragile unless backed by consistent discipline.
During the ceremony elevating a group of village head Mbera to sub-traditional authority, sub-traditional authorities Mpirisi, Pimbi and Matola to traditional authorities, and the traditional authorities Samala to senior chief. Balaka District Commissioner Tamanya Harawa emphasized the need to continue the training programs initiated by the ministry. He said this would ensure that the newly elevated traditional leaders acquire the technical knowledge required to effectively carry out their responsibilities.
It's equally, it's really very important that they get trained. You know, without proper training, they will actually do things haphazardly. And they do things haphazardly, they will not serve the people very well. I believe that if they are properly oriented, they will serve people as is expected of them and according to the laws of the country. This country is governed by laws as well as the Chief Justice is governed by the Chief Act. And I'm sure if they are oriented if they get well trained in terms of what the Act actually provides for them, acquaint themselves with what they are supposed to.
In his remarks, Minister of Local Government, Culture and Unity, Richard Chimwendo Banda, confirmed that the training for traditional leaders will continue, reaffirming his ministry's commitment to improving their welfare, including plans to increase their honoraria by 100%. The minister further urged traditional leaders to play an active role in uniting all Malawians, stressing that fostering unity is a core responsibility of leadership. Responding to his elevation, Senior Chief in Samara expressed gratitude to President Lazarus Chakwera for honoring his promise.
Usogoleri wa Lazarus Chakwera umene unandivomereza ine kuti ndikhale senior lero. Koma kwa inenso ndithokoza kwambiri pomali. Chifukwa kuti udindowu ndautenga ngati mastepe. Chaka chatha President anandivomereza kukhala ine tiye. Chaka chino President omwe wawo andivomereza ine kukhala senior chief. Akalangula chinthu chimachitika.
All the sub-traditional authorities elevated to full traditional authorities were appointed on 25 April 2025, while traditional authority in Samara received his appointment on 20th August 2025. Reporting from Baraka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
Renowned economic expert Happy Chirwa has warned presidential aspirants to be realistic when making campaign promises, stressing that pledges without clear financing plans risk backfiring on Malawi's economy. Chirwa, who has been following campaign trails of leading political parties, noted that while manifestos from MCP, DPP, UTM and others contain appealing policies, most of them lack clarity on where the resources will come from to support their implementation. Judith Organ with more details in this report read by Cherit Chilanga.
Chirwa explained that some policies such as UTMs look good on paper but raise doubts on funding, as unplanned initiatives could squeeze private investment and disrupt ongoing development projects. He also cautioned the sustainability of repeated Constituency Development Fund CDF increases, warning they may overstretch government's budget without reliable revenue sources. He further noted that while DPP has invested in infrastructure before, the poor quality of many roads undermines long-term benefits. On the other hand, he welcomed education-focused policies from various parties, stressing that building human capacity is key to economic growth, though he urged them not to rely entirely on donor support for free education. Chirwa also credited the MCP-led administration for gradually raising CDF allocations and introducing some fiscal controls, but warned that price stability and expenditure management will remain fragile unless backed by consistent discipline in implementation.
I look at all what they have said in terms of implementation. I have a problem with the few, and I may not have a problem with some of those ones. For example, if you look at the UTM in terms of their policies, they are sounding good on paper, but I'm much worried in terms of the resource basket that they may get the resources and then start implementing their promises.
With elections set for September 16, Malawians are expected to closely weigh campaign promises against realistic implementation plans before casting their votes.
In regional news, the BBC reports that a devastating landslide has wiped out the village of Tarasim in Sudan's Darfur region, killing an estimated 1,000 people in one of the deadliest natural disasters in the country's recent history. The landslide struck Sunday after days of heavy rains in the Mara Mountains, a remote volcanic range in central Darfur. According to the Sudan Liberation Movement Army, only one person survived. More in the BBC News report read by Patrick Popper.
A deadly landslide struck the village of Tarasim in western Sudanese Mara Mountains on Sunday following days of heavy rainfall. Local sources report widespread destruction, with homes and infrastructure completely flattened. The Sudan Liberation Movement Army, which controls the area, claimed in a statement that as many as 1,000 people may have died, with only one survivor pulled from the rubble. The group described the village as having been leveled by the disaster. Humanitarian officials cautioned that the death toll remains unconfirmed due to extremely limited access. Antonio Gerard, the UN's Deputy Humanitarian Coordinator for Sudan, said reliable information is difficult to obtain, but the UN is working to verify figures and coordinate relief efforts. The Mara Mountains, rugged terrain, poor infrastructure, and insecurity linked to armed groups are hampering aid delivery. Relief teams are assessing how best to reach affected communities. Sudan often experiences severe floods and landslides during the rainy season, but aid workers say this incident is among the deadliest in recent years. Experts warn that climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of such extreme weather events. Relief agencies are preparing to mobilize emergency assistance, though logistical and security challenges remain. Officials expect more details on casualties and damage to emerge as rescue and recovery operations continue in the coming days. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Popper.
That BBC report read by Patrick Popper on the devastating landslide in Sudan's Darfur region, a sobering reminder of our shared human fragility and the immense power of nature, brings us to the close of this bulletin. But before we go, here are the main stories. Pope Leo XIV prays for victims of earthquake in Afghanistan. Malawi Congress Party urges police probe into Kasung attack claims. Former President Dr. Joyce Banda calls for inclusive youth engagement. In news from across the borders, more than 1,000 killed as landslide wipes out Sudanese village. The whole of the Luntha TV crew here calls each one of you to hold the people of Afghanistan and Darfur in our hearts, uniting our prayers with Pope Leo XIV for the victims and the grieving. And as we here in Malawi count down the days to our tripartite elections, let us remember that our true strength lies not in division, but in unity, not in violence, but in peace, not merely in promises, but in purposeful action grounded in faith. I'm Kathy Matura. Goodbye for now.